Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Mission Apollo, the official Apollo Scooters podcast. We've got another R&D edition today with our resident mad scientist, our CTO Eloi, and we're going to be talking about, well, what everyone is talking about, the new Apollo Pro, which you guys recently announced at a conference, the Micromobility Conference in Amsterdam. So welcome back from your trip, Eloi, and how was it?
Well, thank you, Sean, for receiving me in your great podcast. The show went really well. It was, like you just said, in Amsterdam. It was my first time in Amsterdam, so great first experience. So we went to the show. We had a booth there to present the Apollo Pro. We had two of them. One was for test drive. The other one, we were keeping it clean on the stand. And we also did a presentation there talking about it. I think we're going to release soon the actual footage of the show. And it went really well. Maciek did the presentation. He killed it. You could feel the excitement in the room when we revealed the scooter. I guess it's what Apple employees feel when they are revealing something big and new. So that was fantastic. And the whole show went really well. We all the tests ride. I think the most surprising point to me was how comfortable people were on the scooter. It's surprising because it's a hyper scooter, right? And seeing like old people, like 70 years old people, getting on it in Ludo mode, and just like if it was like a gel meal because it's so smooth. That was great to see. And yeah, it's just confirming what we thought about the scooter, that it's so cool and intuitive to ride. So that went really well, and we also met a lot of other people in the industry. So we built a pretty solid contact list that's going to help us in the future for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised at the announcement of this new hyper scooter, and I mean, it's still going to be a little bit ways off, and we're actually going to be selling it. But how long have you been working on this project, and what was the inspiration for wanting to create this? Because I think a lot of people were expecting almost news about the new Phantom V3, I guess. But so welcome surprise.
We always surprise everyone, right? And we have more stuff coming soon, but we've been working on it since last, I guess, April. Maybe March when we created the design, and in April we did a couple of iteration on the actual design. I think in June we briefed our factory with our requirement list and the BOM, like the whole thing. And since then we received 4 samples. The one that everyone saw at the show is the 4th iteration. It's the 4th prototype, so it's the highest amount of prototype we did for a scooter. But the scooter is so complicated with all the electronics and even like the kind of crazy frame that we have, that it did require some prototyping because the first one was we're not that great. But so it took like a year, which I think for such a crazy scooter it's very short, that period of time. But so I would say a year since we started working on it. And the inspiration, it was we always knew, since we started selling scooters, there's always some component that we don't like about them. It's either like the folding mechanism, it could be a bit better, but we're getting really good at that with the new Ghost, the new Phantom, the City. Like, they are phenomenal. But before that, the other model that we had, it was always like a battle between the price that we can sell it at and the actual quality and feature that we want to put in it. So for the Pro, the briefing was from the start, we're just going to put the best of the best in every component. And we believe that there is a market where people are willing to pay the extra to have that crazy build quality and material. So that was, I guess, the idea behind the Pro. And for the actual design, we wanted something that felt like a MacBook. I'm a big MacBook fan. Just like raw aluminum, sharp edges, just feel cold to the touch. So we wanted this feel, and we wanted the look of the Cybertruck from Tesla. So that's why the lights are like this. And it's funny because even without us saying that we wanted to look like this, the first thing that people said when they saw it was, "My God, this is iPhone, a scooter, or this is the Cybertruck," which was exactly the two things we're going for. So I think it's a mission accomplished for this.
I was just gonna say, yeah. Yeah, it's very very striking, and I can only imagine what the reaction was like from people at the conference there. And then from what you said, it was all pretty positive, and people picked it up
Yeah,
very quickly.
and I have a video of it when like Matt was on the stand and reveal the scooter, because we have the classic like a slow reveal video like we always have, and then boom, the big reveal video, and you
Yeah,
could feel like electricity in the room. You could feel like, oh, something is happening. It was fantastic, like such a great experience. But yeah,
that's
everyone was
cool.
surprised at the show, and we were like against we were with Okai and Segway, like all big company like this.
Yeah.
And by far, the most popular product at the show was the Apollo One. Everyone was going for it on a test ride, and just made such an impression. So yeah,
Nice.
pretty happy.
And people, like I saw some of the test drives, they picked it up pretty quickly, eh? And you said it was very comfortable for them and very intuitive.
Yeah, and I even saw someone driving without the ends. Like basically, the test ride was like small circles, so you couldn't pick up really a lot of speed or anything. But the terrain was terrible. So I guess for 12-inch and hydraulic suspension, it was perfect because people could see the difference compared to like Okai or Segway. But
Hmm.
I saw someone driving without the ends, so he was just on the scooter like this, like I guess a Titanic pose, and just like going straight with it. And I don't think I could do that with the scooter. So I guess that was just a testament on how stable the scooter is.
And they didn't fall? Like
No, they were just straight, and again, the pavement was
what?
terrible. So that's like some silly stuff, Like it was
That's a
impressive.
promo video right there, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Did you guys manage to record it?
Not this guy, but we have a ton
Ah,
of
dang.
picture of everyone from every age
Okay.
driving the scooter, but not this guy. I know who he is though. I have his card, so maybe we can reach out and ask him to do another
Ask him
one.
to do it again, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I've let go of like one hand on the handlebar, even just briefly, and that's scary. So doing it with no hands at all,
like
that's
this, man, just like going
oof.
for it. So yeah, I guess the 12-inch tires, like they're so large. I think they're 4.5 inches wide. So
Okay, wow.
so it's giving you really a lot of stability
Yeah.
on the scooter.
So yeah, let's talk about some of the features because this is a very like luxurious almost scooter with how many features you guys were talking about. So can you quickly summarize everything that we're hoping to offer with this scooter?
Yeah. So I guess the first important thing is that there is no plastic on the scooter. There's the fenders that are plastic, but everything else is aluminum. Even the throttle, every single piece of the scooter is aluminum. Because we wanted again the feel of the cold touch, like a MacBook, like an iPhone. That the material are so important to communicate the amount of effort and quality we put in. So for me, that's one of the biggest features. It's just everything aluminum, everything proprietary. Um, and people will feel it. Everything flow together. It's like the city. It's like an integrated design. Every single part of the scooter have a meaning of why it's placed like this. So that's, I guess, the integrated design. It's the biggest part. But after that, we have a GPS antenna. So we're going to be able to track the scooter at all time. It's probably going to be a subscription service. So people can subscribe to like an anti-theft service, and they're going to be able to track their scooter if it's ever stolen or not. If they just
Mm-hmm.
want to track it for fun, well, they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have and you can control the scooter remotely with this. So it's not just a question of tracking the scooter, because you can do this already with some Sims transmitter, right? That you can put. I know they are selling some for zeros and other scooters, or even like an AirTag. I guess it's a pretty good example. It's working with Bluetooth,
Right.
but it's achieving the same result. The difference with ours is that we can control it remotely. So if it's being
Mm.
stolen, well, we have a kill switch remotely. We can lock the wheel. We can set up the alarm. We can control the speed. We can do whatever we want with the scooter remotely. So creepy but useful.
Yeah.
So GPS, we call it the IoT. Um,
Right.
the inside there's the state-of-the-art technology with our new M1 controller. So it's the same thing that you saw with the Phantom, the beautiful blue case I showed before. Now it's inside the scooter, and we also have a dedicated light box because the lights are so strong on this model that we had to come up. I guess we're going to show it soon, but it's as big as a controller, almost a big heat sink that
Wow.
control only the lights. So that's a first two, I believe. The aluminum throttle, and we have the hydraulic suspension. of course, all the beautiful lights around the scooter that I call aura lights. I'm not sure if it's trademark. We should check, but it sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
let's look into that.
And maybe people have some suggestion about how we could name the light. But what is pretty cool with those lights, it's first of all, there's no dot, right? So it's a clean and smooth line all around the body. I think that contributes a lot to the look of the scooter, because if there was some dot like on the Explorer or the Ghost, we have the blue. Well, you always see the dot usually on the LED lights. Having something smooth like this, it's a first, and it contributes to the rest of the experience. That the frame is smooth, the line are all smooth, so of course the LED light should be smooth. And when you look at a car like Tesla or whatever, well, you don't see the dot in the LEDs, right? So I think it's something that speaks quality, screen quality when you look at it. And anyway, what is cool with those lights is that you can do a ton of interaction. So it's the picture that everyone saw in the videos, I guess. You see it's white and red at the back, but we can do whatever we want with those lights. So when you put the turning signal now, it's like the Audi motion, starting from the back and going on the side. When you plug the scooter, there's a green light going around it. When you brake, all the lights turn red to be more visible. Same thing when you put the alarm, it's all red. And if you touch the scooter, it's going to blink and scream with the speaker. So there's a lot of things we can do with those lights. And I think that's what is important, because we can continue to improve the scooter even in a year from now, So that's pretty cool. And even if a customer suggests something, like we can create, it's like Tesla creating like a Joe mode, which is like one of their customer that was named Joe that wanted so I don't remember what the exact feature is. I think it's something to do with the volume of the car because of its kid was sleeping or something. But anyway, we can create like a Sean mode, if you have a good idea. So, and update it with the over-the-air update. So that's pretty cool, just having this freedom. And like I just mentioned, we also have a Bluetooth speaker. So that's, fantastic, because you can use your speaker as a boombox when you are in the park, or you can use the speaker as a horn. And it's not just a regular horn that you only have one frequency. Because it's a speaker, we can do whatever we want. Like now in the horn, we have Kevin, which is one of our mechanics, just screaming like, "Hey!" And that's one of the options for the horn. So again, it's the same thing. You can record yourself for it. There's limitless possibility, I guess. And the Bluetooth speaker is pretty good on the Fortinet sample. It's super loud, and I think people will enjoy it. And it's the same thing with the alarm. Can do a ton of funny stuff. Like now we put the auto distraction sequence if someone touched the scooter. So there's it's just a ton of Easter egg as we're known for.
That's cool.
And of course, there's the phone holder. As then the phone holder is the main display now on the phone is the main display on the scooter. And for this, we have a phone holder, and with the phone holder, we put a wireless charger under it, and it's a fast wireless charger, and it's extremely powerful. So I know some people ask that question: what about my phone? It's going to drain the battery and everything. Well, no, because there's a fast wireless charger. And to give you an idea, like on the back of my phone, I guess we can't see it now, but I have a lottery ticket, which I didn't win, but I'm the type of guy who just keep it for no reason. And I have a card, like a credit card at the back, but it's still getting through those, and a case, and it's still getting through those and recharging the phone perfectly fine. So pretty happy about the wireless charger.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think most phones support wireless charging now at this point, at least most smartphones. And there's a lot of features there to cover, but the phone seems to be the most divisive feature that we announced. And lots of people are saying, "Oh, this is really cool. This is the future. This is open possibilities," which I guess is the way we were going for, or the goal that we were going for. But a lot of people have also said, it's stupid. I don't want to have to use my phone. The charging issue was a big question. Another thing people have been asking about is like, what if the scooter falls? What if you crash on the scooter? Is it going to be protection for your phone? And can you still use the scooter without the phone attached?
So yes, to answer your last question, yes, you can 100% use the scooter without the phone. If someone, I guess the only instance where you couldn't, it's if someone locked the scooter remotely In the event that I guess it was stolen, then no, you can't use a scooter without the phone linked to it. But for the rest, yes, you can use a scooter. The horn is registered within a memory in the scooter, so it's not like if it's the sound is linked to your phone and need to be streamed via Bluetooth and activated with a button. It's saved within the scooter, so you still have the horn. You can lock the scooter with just a button sequence as well. And I guess the other, you can see the speed. So I guess, yeah, you need the phone to see the speed. But even for the battery, which like the speed, I don't think it's that important, to be honest, because it's all about how the scooter feels. So it's not important to see, I think, how fast you're going if you don't have the phone. It's cool, for sure, it's useful, but it's not a deal breaker for me. But the battery level is a deal breaker. You need to know what is the battery level. So right now, I think you press 3 times on the power button. And as I was explaining before, with the lights, we can do all the spectrums of color that we want. So now you press 3 times on the power button, and the light on the side of the scooter and the back will change to reflect the battery level that you have. So if you are at 100%, it's going to be like a fluo green, then green turning to the yellow, then orange, then red, but through multiple shades. So it's pretty precise. So you can still see the battery level without the phone. And for us, it's a no-brainer. I saw a lot of people that, like you said, were like, oh, I don't want to. Why not put a display on such an expensive scooter? Well, I think it would be naive and ridiculous to not use a phone. It's the best display on the planet. Like your phone, at least on iPhone, we love Android as well, but on iPhone and even like the new Samsung, the screen that you have on your phone is often way better than what you have on your TV. Like the pixel per inch that you have, the brightness of it, it's like 1,000 nit now, which it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it would be ridiculous not to use it. We will never be able to compete with it. It's Apple is pumping billions of dollars in R&D to make it, so we should use it. And the other thing that is, I guess, that people don't think about is there's a bunch of sensors in your phone, and we can use them and connect them to our app to create so many things that is going to enhance the experience of the scooter, like the fall detection, or we can use the gyroscope and accelerometer within the scooter to detect how the road is where you go. So after that, we can feed that to our backend and suggest a better road to our users. There's just so many possibilities with the phone. So yeah, for us, it was a no-brainer. And I guess an example that we could give, it's they often say that, if Henry Ford would have asked customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse, right? Nobody would have said something with 4 wheels with rubber and controlled explosion within an engine block that's going to make you move forward. So we think it's the right choice. The whole.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mean, someone's got to push the boundaries, and the only way forward is to keep exploring the possibilities. And it's a great point with like the phones, because I mean, so many of them. We see a lot of complaints and comments from customers, and not even just about our scooters, but scooters in general. Either the display is not bright enough, or maybe it's too bright in varying degrees of brightness outside. And so the phones, they already have adaptive brightness, and so it'll adapt to be bright enough when it's sunny outside. It'll dim itself a little bit when it's a little bit darker. So I think it's a great idea. And I mean, for the people who don't want to get a phone as their display, we still have the other options of the Phantom and the Ghost and all the other scooters that we'll have too.
Exactly. And now that you mentioned the Phantom, I think a pretty important point for putting the phone as a display. I guess the Phantom is a perfect example of why it's not necessarily a good idea to have a display in the first place, because as you know, the Phantom, we had the V1, the V2, the V3. So that's 3 different displays that we released to the public, but we internally, we had to do a lot of iteration to those displays. Maybe we have 6 different type of displays that for the V1 it took 2, for the V2 it took another 2, and for the V3, well, actually it took 3. So every time you're doing a new display like this, well, first of all, it's extremely long to have prototypes of display, and this is why everyone is using the same display in the industry, the QS4, like the Ghost, I guess. Same thing with that throttle. It's because it's so hard to do those things. So, and it's always in the goal of just having a brighter display with a higher refresh rate and now connectivity with the Bluetooth and the example of the Phantom. So we are wasting time and money for something that is not even as good as a phone. So we might as well just put the phone from the start and iterate with the UI, like the dashboard. So the other cool thing we can do with the phone is like you if you don't like the display, not the display, if you don't like the dashboard of the scooter, well, now I can create a new UI and like a new UI. Sorry, I can create a new dashboard graphic for the dashboard and let you select it. And if in the future we make it open source and easy to customize, well, people can design their own dashboard and submit it to our website for other people in the community to use it. So we feel that the experience can be much more customized to the user like this.
Right. That's cool. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, like why fix what's not broken? We already have that technology for a great built-in screen. I guess one last concern about that then is there going to be any protection for the phone while it's on the scooter? Like, in Montreal, there's so many potholes everywhere. Is there going to be a damper for going over those bumps, or any kind of protective case in case the scooter falls over?
Yeah. So the phone holder is designed to fit a case on your phone, so you don't need to remove any case to put your phone in. So I guess you're going to be able to keep your current case, and usually this is good enough. The phone holder that we have now was not easy to make a new one. Again, it took like 5 different iterations, but now it's pretty good. It's solid, and there's rubber padding inside, so it won't slip or anything. And on the first prototype, I did drop my phone, and I was so mad. So that's why we did 4 other iterations to make sure that this will never happen again. And we are also working with a big phone mount company to have something in the future, I guess, as an accessory. But those big companies take a lot more time to do those custom solution that it's taking us to do a whole scooter. So anyway, we are working with them to have another solution available for customers. But if your phone dropped from the phone holder, well, again, you have your case that should protect it. And in the first place, your phone should never drop from the phone holder. It's spring loaded. And on top of that, you have an attachment to squeeze it even more, and it's going to lock there. So if you set it up correctly from the start, no, nothing's going to happen to your phone. And I guess the second instance where something could happen with your phone, if you crash with the scooter, how the phone holder is positioned right now, it's basically impossible for the road to hit the phone because the handlebar is so large, it's going to protect it. And because of the stopper in the direction, it's never going to happen
with the contact.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would need the steering to be at 90 degrees and then fall like this. And even then the phone holder will stop your phone from hitting the road. But with the stopper, it's only turning at like 45 degrees. So anyway, no, it's basically impossible for your phone to touch the floor when you crash with the scooter.
Okay, good to know. And good to know that you've had that personal experience already, and you're already thinking ahead. It's a valid concern for sure. But so let's go back then to all the different programming stuff, because that sounds really cool. Is this all going to be doable within the app, like programming the different sounds, the different abilities? What you said with the different dashboard, these are all going to be features that are going to be coming to our app then.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. For our app, we are designing because of V3 now. There's a lot of things that people will like. The apps still look the same as it was in the beginning, but we redid everything to be more efficient. So right now we're just, I guess, making our foundation stronger of the app, and then it's going to be way easier to build new feature like this. But it's all going to be available in the app. My goal is to have this ready for when we launch Apollo 1. And well, it needs to be ready, right? You need to be able to select the colors of the light and the horn sound and everything. The other thing with the UI, I think that's a bigger project that's going to require, again, to have. My goal would be that all the icons are almost fixed. Like this is where the speed is, this is where the icon should be. And we just give a platform to the user on the website so they can select the color, the size of the icon and everything. So we need to create a whole new front-end experience for the user on the website, but also a back-end that's going to be able to take the design and generate a dashboard and upload it to the app. So there's a lot of moving pieces to do, but it's all going to be, to answer your question, yes, it's going to be available through the app, ideally in Q1 of 2022.
Cool. Yeah, I guess this is very much like the Tesla cars, where you can program the horn sounds to be something different, or
you can't actually. You can't because it's a safety requirement from the whatever agency is doing the road regulation.
Okay.
You can change it when you're riding under 5 kilometers per hour, but no, the horn sound needs to stay the classic horn sound, even with Tesla.
Okay. But you
But
said
that doesn't
the
apply
alarm
to
sounds we
us.
could
So
change.
yeah, well, you're going to
Okay.
be able to change it. We are not yet,
Okay.
yet a car company. So
Yeah.
you're going to be able to change it. But no, it's not possible for a car. So we are
Oh, I
maybe
see. You
more
mean for
advanced
Tesla,
than a
it's not
car.
possible. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I see. Where was I going to go with that? Oh yeah, I guess we should also clarify. You've called it a couple of times now the Apollo 1, which was our working title
Whoops.
before, but we've decided on the Apollo Pro. Was there any reason for the name as well? Because we did used to have an Apollo Pro in our lineup.
Yeah. Well, at first it was called the A12 because of the 12-inch wheels, and we thought that it was, and we designed other models like the one, and it was fitting the name was could be applied to other models as well. So we thought about doing that A12, maybe A10, and other wheel dimensions like this, but it
Mm-hmm.
was not sexy. And then we were like, okay, well, it's going to be the first scooter that is like over the top, like the latest and greatest in technology and hardware. So we might as well call it the Apollo 1, like the iPhone 1. If there wasn't really an iPhone 1, I think it started with the 3 and then the 3G. But like iPhone 1, and then after that, we're okay, well, how are we going to name the other models that we're going to come up with that are just as cool and smaller? Is it going to be the Apollo 0.5, or it's going to be the Apollo 2, but it's smaller than the 1? And
Yeah.
so we weren't sure. So at the end, we decided to go back with the name of the model that started us, which is the Apollo Light, the Apollo City, Explore, and Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that those names are pretty self-explanatory. So when someone hears the Apollo Pro, well, it's for the pro market, like a
Yeah.
hyper scooter. So yeah, this is why we decided to do it, and we stopped selling the Pro a while back now. So it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense. So we want
Yeah.
to keep the name that we already built on in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it makes sense, especially for such a high-end scooter. And yeah, the previous Apollo Pro that we sold, and there's probably a lot of people listening who actually purchased that back then. It wasn't OEM, so this one is now completely proprietary and designed and exclusively for us, right?
Yeah, 100% of the parts are proprietary, from the tire to the
Wow.
throttle. Everything is custom.
Wow. And I believe this is a unibody frame. Is that right? You said it was all machined from aluminum.
Yeah, exactly. So all the samples that are made now are CNC from a solid block of aluminum. So this means that if you see that the frame is like that big, well, and like that high, well, we need a block of aluminum that big and that wide, and then machine that it's so long. But this is how you get the crazy finish that we have, and also the strength. And well, I guess it's pretty interesting because we can talk about all the model that we released in the past that also justify the reason why we decided to do a unibody frame design. If you look at any models, the Ghost or the Phantom or the Explorer, well, you have a frame of metal that you would be surprised how it looked without all the plastic covers. It's really like a
Mm-hmm.
rectangle shape full of holes, and then you add plastic covers on top of that to to put the lights in. And like if you think at the back of the Phantom, you have the light, the turning signal. In the front, we have a whole tray, a plastic one that go there with the lights as well. Again, every
Mm-hmm.
time you're doing that, well, first of all, you're losing the premium finish because you're introducing plastic and screws, but you're also allowing the design to have flaws. So when you produce plastic parts for electric scooters, or for whatever, just plastic parts with injection molding, after a certain quantity of part, you need to change the mold because it's deforming a little bit, or yeah, just because of the repetition. And this is when your mold is perfect, and it's going to get less good with as the time goes on. But sometimes from the start, the plastic fit is not great, like we had on the Phantom V1. As you remember, on the V2, we launched a new plastic covers that was fitting better,
Right.
like more properly in the front. And all of this, it's like the display, well, it's all unnecessary. If you have one gigantic piece of metal and you don't have any plastic that you need to fit there and add the screws and all those kind of things, well, you are reducing the amount of chance your product's going to have some defect, basically. So it's just one big piece of metal. We don't need to control all the different suppliers of plastics and other smaller plastics to cover the lights and all those things. So it's stronger, it look better, and we're going to have a more consistent finish during production.
Nice. Does it change the ride quality at all as well, like with the solid frame?
Well, our scooters are pretty stiff usually frame-wise. We don't have something like, I guess, Scotsman that is 3D printed and it's flexible or whatever. So I would say it's still as stiff as it was before. The main difference, I think, that you're going to feel is the folding mechanism. The folding mechanism is ridiculous on that scooter. And even the direction for the bearing, I think we should make a video that show the part when they are separated. When people are going to see the quality of bearing we put in that thing, it's like a hub of a car. Like I don't remember. It's like a cone bearing is fitting in the direction. And maybe we can show what it is on smaller models, like the Air compared to this. And you can, I think when you see the quality of bearing that we put in the scooter, you understand that if like that amount of quality is going in the bearing, well, you know what to expect for the rest that is actually visible for the customer. So anyway, when you couple the direction bearing with the folding mechanism, you get such a stiff direction, meaning there is no play, but it's still butterly smooth. This is the main thing that you're going to feel with this frame on that scooter, I think.
Awesome. Incredible. And I guess, going back to that anecdote of the person riding in Amsterdam with no hands, I think that speaks pretty clearly to the ride quality right there of never 100%. Been able to do that with no hands on any kind of scooter.
And one thing I didn't mention, I think, with the, like I said, a 12 inch by 4.5 wide, but it's also self-healing, the tires. So it's like a city. We're continuing with this great technology.
Man, 4-inch wide tire, that's pretty thick too, because most of the tires they're like maybe 3 inches at most.
Yeah, 3.5. But the surprising thing I think with the scooter is that when you look at it, the tires are not oversized. When you look, that was one of our worry when we started designing it. We're like, okay, maybe 12 inch it's going to look oversized compared to the rest of the body, because lengthwise it's not very much longer than the Phantom, and not a little bit higher, but not that much. But no, it's actually flowing perfectly with the rest of the design on it. I don't imagine this scooter with 10 by 3 inch wide tires to look weird.
No, for sure. Okay, so we talked about the frame, we talked about the phone, a lot of the features, the controllers you touched on. This is again another proprietary controller that you yourself have been working on with your team. People have been asking if it's square wave or sine wave, and what does that mean, like square, sine wave, and what are the differences?
It's well, actually, give me 1 second. I'll go pick it up and show it to the camera because I have it opened as well. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Quick break, everyone.
All right. So it's this controller that we showed before, this beautiful piece of art here that we call the M1 controller. This is inside. So you can see there's a solid layer of epoxy as well. So it's hard to see with the blur motion, but it's basically waterproof. So it's the same thing that we put in the Phantom that we're going to put in the Apollo 1. The M1 controller that allowed for app connectivity, of course, and region break. And it's the sine wave controller. So it's like on the Phantom, we decided, so I guess, that's the biggest difference actually. On the Phantom, it's square wave, and we explained why before. People can go check out the podcast. On the Apollo 1, we wanted all the sensors possible to get data. So not only to get like a smooth acceleration, which we proved that you don't need a sine wave controller, but we wanted like a temperature sensor for it to get the temperature reading of the motors, to be able to display it in the app and do advanced diagnostics. So the only way to do this is to have sensors. And if you put sensors with the wires, well, you might as well make it sine wave controller. So, and maybe the difference for people that don't know, square wave controllers, it's like you are pushing on and off signals in the controller. It's really, when you look at the chart of wave going into the motors, it's square like this, and you do this so fast that the motor is like, well, it's also on and off, it's doing this, but so fast that it's going to generate the motion, and
Okay.
be smooth at high speed, but at low speed, often it's going to jerk. It's going to do on off like this, which we fix with the new Phantom. But with a sine
Mm-hmm.
wave controller, it's really a wave like this because you have sensors. You are able to detect always the position of the motor, so you can have a much smoother response. And when you have 12-inch tires, it's even more important because the tires are bigger, the motor is bigger, and if you don't have a sine wave controller, it's going to be very hard for the controller to detect the position of the motor because there's a bigger room for error, I guess.
I see. I see. Very interesting. Yeah, it's very exciting and very cool. What else was there? There's a lot to cover on this. I guess there's still a lot of time before it's even released too. So there's possibilities that we'll tweak and fix some things by the time we actually release it for pre-orders.
Yeah, I would say the one we have now is I think it would be good enough for market. Like everything is working flawlessly, but
Mhm.
yeah, we like we always do. We're gonna continue to improve it further, and I think people can see how big of a difference it makes when you do those iterations with the new video of the city we're going to release. We're going to release, I guess, this week a new video that show the first prototype of the city versus the second one versus the production unit.
Mhm.
And we're going to do the same for the Apollo Pro. But people can see just like how how deep we are going in the small details, so they have the perfect ride experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Can we confirm any of the specs yet? I know Maciek mentioned like the speed and range at the keynote, but I think there was also like a bit of a misspeak there.
Yeah, so Match mentioned 100 kilometers per hour in the keynote and 100 kilometers of range. It's going to be 70 kilometers per hour and 100 kilometers of range. It's
Okay.
going to be 1200 watt motor, dual motor only. We might do a 20Ah version and 30Ah version to
Mm.
have an option that is a bit more affordable than the 30Ah one.
Okay.
We are using 21700 cell. That's going to stay the same. Sine wave controller. That's going to stay the same. It's going to be dual drum brake.
Hmm.
I think we might need to explain as well. Some people, well, pretty much everyone at this price say that you should have hydraulic brake for this price,
Hmm.
which is fair enough. The reason why we didn't want to do it is the same thing as the unibody frame. We removed everything that was creating friction before, and I guess that's a good term, considering we're talking about brake, but friction with like customers are receiving right now their scooters, and often the discs are bent because the shipping company are playing football with the box.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying, you receive your scooter that you just paid thousands of dollars for, you open it and the disc is bent at 90
Mm.
degrees. And it's frustrating because at the factory, we put so many QC check to make sure that everything is perfect when it leaves. And when customer receive it, it's all bent or scratched like this. So we
Yeah.
decided to go with drum brake. So there is no way it can get bent. And the other really annoying thing with scooters is when you ride in waters with it, this brake's gonna start like
Mm.
squeaking or screaming, whatever, like
Yeah.
the classic braking noise.
When we get debris
Uh,
on them, yeah. Yeah.
exactly, and well, that's unacceptable. And when you have a scooter that is IP66, well, I hope people are gonna ride in the water with it. It would be ridiculous. You have to have a scooter so expensive that just scream. You don't even need a horn because you have the
Mm.
brake screaming. So it's this is why we decided to do it. They last longer as well, so the pad is thicker. And again, with
Okay.
the region brake that we have, it's so strong with the dual motor 12-inch tires. Because of the bigger tires, you get more strength with the region brake that you don't
Hmm.
even need the drum brake. And to give you an idea, on the app, we can count the amount of time people use a drum brake on the scooter
Hmm.
versus a region brake. So we checked we had hundreds of test rides in Amsterdam, and I think the brake were used 4 times. And the rest of the time, I think like 300 times, it was always region brake. So even for new people that are not used to the scooter, you would think that their first reflex would be like a bicycle and just brake with the hands, right? But no,
Yeah.
it's so intuitive with the throttle that they are going right away for the region brake. So yeah, we
Interesting.
think that it's not even necessary the mechanical one. But if something happened, of course, we want you to have a backup, and this is why we're putting it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, people have been saying like for those speeds you should need hydraulic brakes or whatever like that. But yeah, it's the case with all scooters everywhere. They arrive and not handled very well, and so the discs they are getting bent. But yeah, especially with the regen brake, the idea is that they
Mhm.
won't even need to use the mechanical brakes. And that too, like you can change the settings in the app so that you make them stronger. So I guess the idea is you hopefully will never need to use the physical brakes at all.
Yeah.
In case they do, is there any kind of new technology with the drum brakes to make them stronger or anything? Like just in case people prefer to use that, or is it just kind of like your standard drum brake?
Standard drum brake, I guess the difference that we have compared to the most of the competition is that in our brake handle, we have 3 wires instead of 2, like we have on the new city. So now the region braking is linked to the handle, not just the throttle, and it's proportional to the amount of like pressure or just the amount of movement you do on the handle of the brake handle. So if you brake a lot, the drum brake is going to engage, but also the region brake. So it's and usually on other scooters like the Phantom or the Ghost, well, you only have 2 wires, so it's on or off. So if you set your region at 10 and you brake, you're gonna feel it like it's unpleasant. Compared to now, it's really gonna follow the movement of your hand. And again,
Okay.
this is enhancing the whole experience of braking. But the actual drum brake, no, it's the same thing. We didn't reinvent that. It's I guess it's proprietary size that we have for the drum brake, but
Yeah.
it's not a new technology or anything like that.
Yeah, they already work pretty well, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, very very low maintenance. It's a great system. Um, yeah, I think that covers. I mean, most of the questions. There's a lot to cover. You're clearly very excited about it. I guess one last question or concern some people have been asking about is like, what does this scooter mean for the Phantom? Maybe because the Phantom was our previous flagship model, and now with the Pro, it's an even step higher. But
Mm-hmm.
there's very clearly some differences between the two, and one does not negate the other.
Yeah, the way that people could see it is the Phantom being something very aggressive and sporty, like a Lamborghini, and
Mm.
the Pro, sorry, would be something like a Rolls Royce. It's a Rolls Royce. Yeah, it's
Rolls Royce, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
or like a Bentley or whatever. Just like something bigger that's gonna it's gonna give you more comfort with the 12-inch tires, and again the fact that it's
Mm.
self-healing and large, and the hydraulic suspension, the crazy folding mechanism as well. It's just something that is more comfortable, but is not
Hmm.
necessarily as aggressive as the Phantom because, or it's similar, but yeah, it's just all the feature that you get with the Pro that are extra compared to the pure and I guess simplistic scooter experience that usually you have with scooters. So for the Phantom, we
Right.
keep it very well. I guess this distinction is a bit harder to make now because we are pushing the B3 with the same controller inside, and you're gonna gain so much with the regen, the new throttle, the app compatibility. But
Hmm.
yeah, the Pro is something ridiculously luxurious, and the build quality is over the top. It's all for the Phantom. The build quality is also fantastic, but
Yeah.
you see it with the one. It's a new experience. It's something completely different. It's like the Tesla Model Y look like the X. Well, with the X, you have the special door opening like this. You have the
Mm.
crazy sound systems. You have
Yeah.
the show light that you can do with the light and the door opening. Like there's so many extras. But yeah, it's two type of customers I think is gonna buy it. And again, the Phantom with the new controller, it's also going to be a game changer again. So it's coming down to a question of weight, I think, and what you can afford.
Yeah, for sure. So if we're comparing the Pro to a Rolls Royce, does that mean there's going to be a built-in umbrella holder and a champagne bar and
You were supposed to keep it secret, John.
oops, my
No,
bad.
we do. That being said, though, we are designing some pretty nice accessories that are made for the one. So we won't be putting a regular seat like we had on the Explorer or the old Pro. It's going to be like special seat all integrated, and so yeah, we have some pretty cool accessories coming for this for the
Nice,
scooters.
nice. And I guess last question is like, what scooters from other competitors do you see the Pro competing against? Are there any competitors for this level of scooter?
Um, well, I guess there's multiple way to look at it. There's build quality probably, and there's features. and performance. Build quality, I would say no. Of course, no. It's something just ridiculous what we built here. And again, like when you see all the small details, like all the bearings we put in it, I guarantee you nobody is using bearings like this. It's just way too expensive. The closest thing in build quality, and I haven't opened it or disassembled it yet, so I can't really talk about it. But the new Segway GT2, I think that would be a good comparison. And knowing Segway, they are worth $1.5 billion, right? So of course they have the money to do, and the engineering team to do something with a very high build quality. But it's still so ugly. It looked like everyone at the office. It looked like a transformer. Just think it's gonna like unfold and become Optimus Prime in front of you or something. It would be, I think build quality would be the Segway, and even spec wise. Well, with those spec, we are comparing with the Wolf, the Caboo, the big model, like the Wolf Warrior, which is Caboo, the Bernie, and those kind of big scooters. But again, they are all so ugly and unpractical that I don't think it's a fair comparison. And at Amsterdam, this is what we saw. We saw like maybe 2 other scooter companies that had really good design for scooters. Shout out to them. But it was not practical. Like you can't fold the scooter. If you can't fold it, shipping it, you can imagine it's going to be a nightmare. Or everything about the scooter is unpractical. The fact that we're able to match such good design, manufacturability, and performance, I think this is where we are shining. We are able to put all those things together and have a unique experience like this.
For sure. Yeah, some people have commented like, you can find scooters still with higher top speeds or potentially even longer range, but that combination of the stats in that regard, as well as the features that we're going to be offering and the build quality of the unibody frame and everything that goes along with it, I mean, that complete package, as far as I know, it's pretty hard to beat. And as you said, with those Segway scooters, I mean, they're very bulky and not very good looking.
Yeah, and I think we are the first scooter that we're going to be releasing with GPS and IoT connectivity.
Yeah,
we are the first one, I think, with a built-in Bluetooth speaker that is not trash, at least. And the CUB Lite, we're the first. The control like this, we're the first hyper scooter with a region brake. I think we're the only scooter on the market with customs, 100% custom part and custom throttle. Even the new Segway, they use a garbage twist throttle. It's pretty exciting out of this. I'm pretty happy. And go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think the bigger picture here is that everything we are doing is we are creating an ecosystem around our scooter. Now we have the incredible app for a scooter that, to me, and I think objectively, it's the best looking and the more useful in the industry. When you look at Segway, Xiaomi, and other like company that have an app, which are not big company, well, it's all bad. The app are just not useful. So we have like an incredible app. Now we are introducing the Apollo Care, which is going to give extended warranty on all parts to customer for those models. We're going to have a proper diagnostic tool in the back end. We can see everything. If your motor is overheating, if there is anything wrong with any cell in your battery, there's, I think, 96 cell now. If something is wrong with just one of them, we're going to see it. If something is wrong with the motor, the controller, the phone holder, we have data coming from all points, and we have a great diagnostic tool for customer service. And soon you won't even need customer service. You're going to have your own login into your account, and you're going to see it directly in the app or on the web what is wrong with your scooter. And we have the GPS connectivity. So we are really creating a whole, I think, ecosystem. And that's going to be what is compelling to choose Apollo, not just the fantastic hardware, customer service, the content, but the fact that when you are supported in so many ways that you know that nothing can go wrong. And if something goes wrong, well, you have the necessary tool and knowledge to fix it. So I think that's the bigger picture that we hope people can see.
Wow. Yeah, very, very cool, very exciting. And yeah, we barely even touched on like the GPS connectivity, the IoT, the whole Apollo Care that we're working on. I mean, we might have to save that for another episode. We're already coming up on almost an hour here.
Yeah, and we need to show the people the new factory floor we opened as well. it's definitely one of the best in the industry. It's, you can see a reflection in the floor because it's so clean and neat.
Wow.
Yeah, we need to show that to people.
For sure. Yeah, we're going to be releasing a lot of content around this, I think, in the next few months for the rest of the year, pretty much, and probably do maybe a couple more episodes on this topic and everything that's going to come along with it. This is huge. The reactions everywhere have been amazing. Big stuff is in store for Apollo, and as you said, we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up here. Save some more information for another episode, but hopefully this answers a lot of people's questions and piques some interest. And yeah, anything else you wanna share before we sign off here?
No, I think people can expect the same type of quality and innovation from everything coming with this new Apollo 1/Pro. We hope that our design is so I think unique and out there that I think that in the future, every time someone's going to see an Apollo scooters in our new lineup, well, you won't even need a logo or anything on it. You know it's an Apollo scooter because it's so iconic. We designed the rest of the portfolio that's going to be releasing, I guess, in the years to come to add this essence in it. And I truly believe that we are the best electric scooter company in the industry. I'm biased, of course, but we put so much effort, and everyone in the team care as much as I do about hardware, about customer service, about content for you, for example, with Brandy and Simon, about marketing, about distribution. We want to make sure that the scooter is available for everyone, that everyone can fix it, that the resource and the repair team, of course, we're opening the tech crew, repair centers. Anyway, everyone cares so much in the business about their department that I don't think anyone can find this in other scooter company. And right now it might be a little hard with how fast we are scaling. We see some problem with customer service. And the problem is that it's not that they're not good. It's just we have so many tickets that it's taking some time to respond. But people can watch the podcast you did with Nadzim. We are invested so much in making the experience better, and it's going to come. It would be foolish to not choose Apollo scooter for your next scooter.
Yeah, we touched on it before, and it's growing pains, and it's a difficult problem, but it's almost a good problem in that people are coming to us and they're choosing us as their scooter company, and we want to make sure that we live up to their expectations, and we're working hard to correct that, but it takes time. And hopefully people see that, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible, as well as deliver the best experience possible. So thank you everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe and share this episode if you enjoyed it, and tune in next time and ride safe.
Bye.